Es startet direkt, Leute. Es startet direkt. Wer hätte damit rechnen können? Chris.
It has brought a more populated and active verse, with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next Star Citizen would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance.
Unsere Watch Party.
Countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
So Leute, ihr könnt voten. Was kommt als nächstes? Was kommt als erstes? Ausrufezeichen Vote 1, 2, 3, 4. Alter, ist das laut. Ab in den Chat damit. Wir haben jetzt Abstimmungen. Mal sehen, ob es funktioniert. Was ist hier eigentlich mit meiner Cam los? Entschuldige, die fixe ich kurz. Okay. Wir haben hier nichts verpasst, keine Sorge. Ah! Okay. Sehr gut, das funktioniert. Wir haben Stimmen incoming. Vielen Dank, Indien. Vielen Dank, Mozart. Und ich hoffe, es klappt auch. Ich kann es gerade nicht checken, also nicht prüfen, aber ihr bekommt hoffentlich auch alles schön im Chat mit jetzt.
The content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5-star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone, added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacian Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our third star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Okay, Leute, also er hatte erstmal, man hatte ja gar keine Zeit, was zu sagen, aber wir haben so schnell 2 Star Systems released. Hey, ihr habt irgendwie 4 Jahre an Pyro gearbeitet, what the fuck? Und nix ist gar nichts.
We introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe.
Tut mir leid,
The
Fries.
first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal,
Sorry für die
determined
Ads.
to wipe out any threats that
Kauft kein FIFA.
And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the Regen Crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Mella of the Hokro Agency. And just like the
Okay.
Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered, the United
Sieht chillig
Empire,
aus dort.
the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective,
Das ist nix,
and then was
Mozart, ja.
mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than
Entschuldigt das nächste Mal, kümmere ich mich drum, dass wir keine Ads haben.
every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Zum Glück sind sie jetzt unter mir, da ist es halb so wild.
Making a star system is.
Aber ignoriert das einfach alles, was
you
hinter
approach
mir
it
ist.
from kind
Ich
of
krieg
two
dafür kein
angles
Geld.
in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? how does this new system plug into it and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE.
Auch keinen atmosphärischen Druck gibt's, den gibt's auch nicht.
With a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect, they're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
The Pyro Star is quite a warm star.
Du wirst lachen, Freeze.
Stanton Star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit.
Aber ich weiß nicht, ob ich es empfehlen kann. Aber das ist so Mojito-Geschmack, schmeckt gut.
Star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud, and it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because
Work in progress, man sieht nur
it was important that we
schwarz.
had a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just in between the clouds see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
Ich habe euch alle nicht begrüßt, ne? Hallo alle.
I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light.
Wisst ihr, wie uninteressant ich das gerade alles finde? Sorry, falls ich nicht aufmerksam wirke auf das, was da gerade passiert, aber das ist ja...
One from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix.
Damit starten sie.
Be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra.
Wenn's Terra wäre.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Aber es ist halt ein Asteroidengott. Wir schauen 10 Minuten auf Asteroiden.
Huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
Nichts gegen Nix, ne, aber...
Combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds. And it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
Burrito Holy, das brauchen wir.
Resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nix are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the
Ich spiele immer Stormworks.
One of the big differences too is all of
Mal sehen, wann ich das nächste Video mache, aber ist nichts geplant gerade. Aber kommt.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Danke für die Frage.
Feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, empty void.
And as we build out the Glacium build over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Es ist halt wirklich das uninteressanteste System dafür. Ich will Levski, alles klar, aber...
built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
So, Levski ist das einzig wirklich krass Interessante dann erstmal da dran. Wenn die das mit geilem Gameplay befüllen, ich bin happy, aber...
social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
Genau, Intient.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it. It's
Ja.
small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Gas!
Well,
Wow.
Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking
Ach,
into
ihr
the
meint wie
belts
Grimhex.
instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic
Sieht cool aus.
borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You will also see growing out from there.
Oh, das geht diesmal,
alongside
das geht
Levski,
durch. Das ist anders als früher.
There will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined
Abend, hey.
mining materials when it was.
Mir geht's gut, ich hoffe euch auch.
station.
Before we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate
Wenn Mozart
size
das so hier formuliert, da hat er recht. Steine, Schotter, Geröll, Brocken, Felsen,
You will see
Kanten.
that there is
Kanten,
an area to fly underneath.
Löcher.
We plan on bringing in whole sea gameplay. So this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks.
Okay, cool, ja.
It's now going to be fully EVA-able.
EVA,
There
aber...
will be walkways around.
Aber kann man dann immer noch da drauf rumfahren? Nee, gell?
Walk on using gravity plates.
Ah, okay.
But you can drift off and kind of go wherever you want.
Es ist also basically einfach nur noch eine Raumstation. Was okay ist, ne?
Fully
Aber
the whole place, which is great.
ist eine coole Idee. Hatten wir so noch nicht. Ich find's nur so lustig, dass sie damit starten. Das hätten sie zum Schluss hinpacken sollen. Ah, und übrigens kommt noch nix.
Not
Oh, geil.
downtrodden
In einem Monat, geil.
derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be.
Das ist die CitizenCon Direct.
The newer features that have been put in since.
Star Citizen News,
but
großes
also
Event.
visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large.
Einen Moment, ich muss kurz rüber in den Chat und das Copium aufsammeln. Ah, das hat gut getan. Danke, Mozart. Ich mach nur Spaß.
And stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
Alles coole Lore, aber wissen wir halt schon seit wie vielen Jahren? Ist okay. Aber damit halt zu starten.
You'll see the top view and the cargo area as well, so that you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade.
Aber immerhin seid ihr im Chat gut drauf. Das ist das Wichtigste. Und seid mir nicht böse, dass ich so viel drüber quatsche. Und dann wieder die Werbung.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski. Anybody traveling through the system, again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons.
Okay, in Shops, ja. Ach was, da sind Shops drin.
Which is where you can go down into some of the
Bin ich halt einfach nur auf Krawall gebürstet? Oder was?
You never know who you meet down there.
Ach, das sind Shops in Levski. Ach so. Das war ja früher auch nicht. Ein Waffenshop, habt ihr das gehört, Leute? Endlich haben wir einen Waffenshop in Star Citizen.
There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teacher Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your
Leute, ihr müsst abstimmen, ne?
not just from Levski, but from
Da ist wieder ein Vote am Start. Oh, da brauchen wir noch einen Chat. Dass so ein Chat reinkommt. Vote hat gestartet. Jetzt geht's los, Leute.
So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years.
Da hat Intient auf jeden Fall recht. Es ist geil, es ist was Neues. Es ist ein drittes System. Allein, dass wir jetzt so eine Dreifaltigkeit haben, ja? Star Citizen ist endlich göttlich geworden.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out.
Es wird nicht so komplett sein wie Pyro, als es zuerst rauskam. Pyro war, hey, what?
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to stand and be a much more calming of, style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago. So seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Tut mir auf jeden Fall leid, Intient, dass du nur so, also nicht gar die beste Laune hast. Ich wüsste ja gar nicht warum. Ey, ich guck dann die ganzen anderen Streams so nach von den anderen und die anderen so, oh geil, Levski, und nicht nur so eine Scheiße, was soll das? Will der Levski? Nee, ich will Levski schon auch.
Talked about Glazing Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive,
Keine Ahnung,
maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working to
Geile Rüstung.
for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I gonna be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all gonna come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the NIC system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the glacial belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the NIC system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities.
Herr Mozart, dann gib uns wenigstens eine Stimme ab hierfür.
It's not a normal Polaris. It's
Also eine
damaged,
positive.
It's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
Jetzt hat's aktualisiert. Danke, Mozart. Und
For the first time in the PU.
tut mir leid, dass ich hier Pyro nicht mit auf dem Plan hatte.
So the Vandal are a nomadic, very, very, very violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the NIC system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system.
Finde ich einen coolen Twist.
And they're
Bin ich ehrlich.
affiliated to any clan, with small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
You will be contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launched that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will
Das ist eine
be
coole Sache.
intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersect sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QB stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
Aber es sind auch NPCs in Star Citizen.
This definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are
In denen sieht schon wieder nur die geilen Rüstungen.
new territory,
Fair enough.
fighting a new faction.
Die Waffe finde ich ja wirklich eine super coole Idee von CIG.
And obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow. This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat
Torpedo-Burrito-Geschmack.
and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
I'm super excited to finally see the Vandal in the PU.
I'm excited to bring.
Aber habe ich das gerade richtig gesehen? War das jetzt eine Mischung aus den alten Vandal-Schiffen, Designs quasi, und den gereworkten?
Like we already have it in Arena Commander, where you get to fight the Vandal Swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be.
Intint hat übelst was gegen Wicklow.
So this
hat wieder Angst, gescammt zu werden.
For not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes
Auf
to
das
look ahead
Team.
at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voyager Bar in beautiful scenic Reysn, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenCon Direct watch party.
Da ist das Geld für meine Carracks drin. Carracks, als ob ich mehrere hätte.
We've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone.
Die wären doch auch mit einem normalen Büro zufrieden gewesen, oder? Gib denen lieber eine bessere Krankenversorgung oder whatever. Kein fucking Kunstbaum. Sieht aber gut aus.
And in case you missed it because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before.
2 Stunden Show und sie kriegen den Hall nicht raus.
1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So
was soll ich sagen? Ich krieg hier Werbung rein.
Of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using #CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a CitizenCon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos.
Das könnte ich fast glauben, aber ich glaube nicht, dass es direkt Absicht ist. Wenn, akzeptieren sie es einfach nur und sagen, das ist cool.
But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works.
Hat einer von euch eigentlich das Digital Goodie Pack sich geholt? 35 Euro?
Curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say. Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the
Alles
next
gut in
thing.
Tieren, ne? Wenn man das Geld hat und da Bock drauf hat. Ich finde nur, du solltest nicht 35 Euro dafür zahlen müssen. Ich beschwere mich nicht darüber, dass das irgendjemand tut. Ich weiß ja, wie das ist. Irgendeinen brauchen wir ja hier, der mir dann die Sachen in-game zeigen kann, oder? Die geile Trophäe. Ich dachte, die Trophäe gab es immer gratis für alle, aber
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe
ja, das ist ja das Geile, man weiß noch nicht mal, was genau drin ist, ne?
And through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system.
Planetech.
We'll also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now this was a super hard problem.
Also könnte jetzt mega geil sein.
At the scale the Star Citizen requires.
Aber
we challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
Jetzt, ich bin halt gespannt, was kommt jetzt, weil wir wissen, was die Vision ist, wir wissen, wie geil die Planeten schon aussehen. Und ich frage mich, wie sie jetzt noch einen draufsetzen wollen.
Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever
oh, schöne Berge.
The correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules.
Ich will der auch sein.
Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new
Schöne Biome.
are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few. This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it.
Ja, gutes Feature.
Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA. With Genesis, we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as
Oh.
we focus on the
Schön,
quality.
schön.
And it provides the quantity. Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place with the
Also
planets
würden Sie-
providing an abundant resource to harvest.
Aber gibt's halt nix, nicht solche
Is a
Planeten,
major
ne?
part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
So, jetzt kommt Space Building. Also, es sieht mega geil aus, oder?
Hand you over to Will to
Kann man
go
nicht sagen.
deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in.
Also glaubt denen das ruhig.
for Nix.
Im besten Fall ist es ja so
Thanks,
optimiert,
Ian.
dass es
So, in case it's
auf
not already
mehreren
clear,
PCs gut läuft.
Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on planet tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a
Ich dachte, Nyx sind keine
gas
Planeten.
giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
Cool, Gasplanet. Immer gerne.
Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system.
Okay.
Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and
Wow,
grasslands.
sowas ist in Nyx auch, oder war,
and from damp, expansive
was habe ich vergessen?
claustrophobic, festering swamps.
Okay, alles, was wir gerade... Ich nehme alles zurück, was ich gesagt habe.
A fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases,
Animiertes
the current
Concept Art, ja.
don't do them at all, or
Jetzt kommt die Werbung von unten, was soll das?
So, let's approach this planet.
Die haben gemerkt, dass hier links nicht geht. Rechts.
The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously,
Naja,
we had
Intient
different data
kommt ja nicht
for
komplett
the orbital
nix.
and ground coloring.
Deswegen war ich ja so, hä, es ist doch nur Levski, was soll da fehlen noch?
The vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there.
Aber der eine Planet kommt wohl auf jeden Fall noch nicht.
Data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look.
Mozart, sperr lieber all deine Kreditkarten.
Competition between different species.
Sicher, sicher.
Part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image and allows you to
Jahreszeit?
identify
What the fuck?
features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light. When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of
Da
scale,
kannst du dann mit dem Auto hier
and allows us to
runterfahren.
create far more
Das sieht
unique
spaßig
locations
aus. Hoverbikes.
So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large scale, very detailed to
Finde ich
all our
geil.
cliffs based on
Also und
geology
für Mining sehe ich da auch den
An
Gameplay-Zugewinn.
exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get
Aber
before.
ansonsten sieht halt geil aus, ne?
The second is
Aber
a
das war ja
big
nie
one
das Problem.
for ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema.
Das ist gut.
But only in places you'd expect to find them.
Das nervt übelst, wenn man da rumfährt.
Brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell.
Aber wo fährt man hin? Das ist die
Physical
Frage.
data generated for each large and medium tile. Now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you.
Da gibt es eine ganze Menge Bugs, die da auch für
The
sorgen
rock
können.
assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
Das ist so eine gute Änderung.
So now that our base terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes.
Sag mal, ist das jetzt auf Twitch einfach Standard, dass alle 30 Sekunden gefühlt ein Ad hier reindüst? Das hat CIG doch bestimmt nicht eingestellt, dass das passiert.
Rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations, like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh
Oh,
water,
schönes Bild.
they begin transitioning into more wetland-type biomes. And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today. So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass.
Berggras, Bäume,
With Genesis,
geil.
we now leverage GPU spawning to create vast quantities of assets across all biomes, whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands. We are also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we can finally cover complex terrain shapes with grass and ground cover assets, and as a result they are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect and not sticking out like before. Next, let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface.
Was macht eigentlich die ganze Zeit die Polaris?
Meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem.
Ja, Gähnchen, also das ist der geilste Planet zum drauf wohnen bisher, oder?
Beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Like, can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past,
Ja, das ist nix, soweit ich weiß.
Very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps. So yeah, we didn't forget about the swamps, and they're coming to Nyx 1 as well.
Ja, ich
Built
finde
using the
Sümpfe echt
lessons
schön.
learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
Ja, richtig schön.
Anyway, that's our update on the planet tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this
Ja,
and
Nyx
everything
1.
we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for. A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done before. And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally.
Hier hast du die Umfrage
Until
hinten.
now, our mission system
Ich mach Multivote an, jetzt kannst du nochmal abstimmen.
Meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said Holly was gone. He doesn't even play the game?
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nyx.
Die andere mit dem Chat. Ach
Various
so,
volumes of
Entschuldigung.
cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill.
Ich dachte, du wolltest Space Building jetzt nochmal voten.
The series of all ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Elios.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake cutter myself, between Stanton and Nyx.
Schön.
Just a Drake cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake cutter is really cute, so.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions.
Nice, endlich haben wir die Mehrheit. Scheiße, ist das geil.
And making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems. Just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
Okay, finde ich gut. Interstellare Mission. Ist eine gute
We're
Sache.
going to build out the Nyx system right in front of you after 4.4 launches next month. And why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself in-game and on your own, we still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
Ist das das neue Design für die Orion?
Is our internal name.
Rock cracker is where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Kiga Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
Okay, da fliegen wir mit der Maul hin.
These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned.
Coole Idee auf jeden Fall, rein visuell.
Inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
Denn natürlich muss darum gekämpft werden. Kein Miner kann in Ruhe nochmal zusätzliches Gameplay haben.
It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining way through long forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility,
Ich will direkt 5 davon benutzen, um Planeten zu zerstören.
now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility.
Coole Idee.
Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
Warum? Was haben die für ein Interesse daran, dass die Mining-Station nicht wieder... Also, dass die... Also, hä? Warum chillen die da? Was haben die davon? Leben die da? Warum soll ich die dann da wegballern? Kann man nicht mit denen auch verhandeln oder so? Teil der Profite an die
So
abdrücken?
you've found
Keine
these
Ahnung.
old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship.
Ballern ist gleich Content,
fly
ja,
in,
ich weiß.
start
Aber
searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
ne, man könnte ja mehr, also ne, ist immer nur auf andere Leute zu ballern, macht ja nicht so viel Spaß, wie wenn man auch erstmal rausfinden muss, ist jetzt Ballern das Beste.
I'm really excited about Rock Cracker.
So, was könnte man
because
sonst
it's a
machen?
Sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
Also ich habe ja auch nichts gegen FPS-Combat, ne? Macht Spaß.
Compared to any other asteroids, because this one, kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of scratch on an asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics
Yeah.
and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all 3 systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets There'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Should I say ganking?
You already did.
Okay.
Good job, everyone. So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockcracker. Rockcracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're gonna fly into an asteroid and do that thing that miners love more than anything else. Complain about PvPers getting in their way. No, I'm being told it's mining. It's mining. And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets of Star Citizen, including the ones already in there. So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got? The CitizenCon Digital Goodies Pack. That's a hard thing to say. That went up for sale a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items in it. And that's where I can tell you now that almost all of them are tied to the Nyx system in one way or another. So let's find out what's actually in there. There's a gunship flight suit and helmet. 2 armor sets from that mysterious faction
Guck mal, was du
causing a ruckus
bekommst.
with the Van Duel. And an intersect BDU
Eine Waffe
sword
mit
and
Knochen
outfit. A
dran?
couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes.
Van Duel
Some
Plushie?
slick Levski swag. And finally, to celebrate the long-awaited
Okay.
edition of the Van Duel to Star Citizen, a cool Van Duel knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish.
Ist okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty
Oder?
pretty solid haul for
Zufrieden?
this year's Digital Goodies Pack, which you can still pick up right now on the RSI store. So now, let's go ahead and transition into our next segment. Much of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once. Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's better judgment, the thing has finally happened. Can I help you? How do you think the show's going? Good. We're getting the Nyx star system. and
Okay,
the kind of been a lot of Nyx, right? Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone, and it deserves a major showcase celebrating everybody's hard work. And you got more, right? Well, yeah, there's spaceships coming out. Cool. Wow, it's like they only scan the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning in PCAP does. Well, this has been super cringe. So I'm gonna head out. Bye.
Haben sie aber gut getimt, ne? Muss ich ihm lassen.
Regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that. Of course. Thank you. Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet. No. No. No.
Entschuldigt, ich bin ja die ganze Zeit bei euch über den wunderschönen Jared.
Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the Vehicle Director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe.
Okay, jetzt wird's
It's
spannend.
been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period, and we've covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to capital ships.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
Yeah, the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed.
Bin heute erst nochmal die Wolf geflogen.
The Idris in.
Macht schon Spaß.
None of you is expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
Na, Geld ausgeben, Intchen, ist der Content.
Is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Darf ich dich an folgende Aussage von Mozart erinnern?
Everyone's mentioning the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favorite.
The Wolf, obviously, a return of Kruger.
Und dann deine?
New aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, you know, it was kind of everything we set it out to be. And
Die Wolf macht richtig viel Spaß.
We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like
Also von
the Zeus. I
dem Drake Mining Schiff bin ich nicht so der Fan.
To be honest, because we've released, you know, a lot of really cool ships.
Next year we've got
Die
some
Sus ist
super fun
cool.
ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're gonna see again maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting.
Mehr Krüger-Schiffe bitte.
They're good.
Krüger. Krüger-Schiffe. Kruger Intergalactic.
Ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nix system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
Okay, Anvil hat ja kaum Schiffe bisher, da haben sie recht.
Military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and law.
Anvil-Schiffe sind Peak. In der Regel.
You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering.
Ja, weil es einfach tausendmal besser ist als die Valkyrie.
Anvil Paladin to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to stay in a sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game, the true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor.
Okay.
Lots of guns.
Lots of armor, lots of guns. Big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull.
Okay,
Obviously
unten
a very menacing
auch nochmal
silhouette.
Fenster.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you, even when it's just sat still. And I think that's something that helps with it.
Ich finde, es sieht ein bisschen langweilig aus.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got these really nice connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the two remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is
deswegen hat es da hinten die Lücke, okay.
Full 360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage.
Wie die Scorpion quasi.
And then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have between the turrets.
Ich mag die Sessel.
360 coverage in all
Das ist ein
directions.
geiler Sessel. Also das Schiff wirklich, das wirkt für, also nicht, dass das schlecht ist oder so, ich bin auf das Interieur gespannt, aber wirkt ein bisschen langweilig, uninspiriert. Carrack Blast Shield gibt's doch schon.
The crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all
Ist schon
sat
in-game.
together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does.
Interessant.
This really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the two connected. I think
Oh,
that
ja,
really
süß.
helps with the feeling that you're all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions.
Von innen macht mich das Feeling schon ein bisschen an, ne? Ist nur von außen bisher noch nicht so mir ans Herz gewachsen.
Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into this sort of ready room area. You have a variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
Anvil-typisch.
The improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU.
Okay, nett.
Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear
cool.
you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components
Ja,
are.
funktional,
Also
militärisch.
within the upper traversal area, you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
Chillig.
I think it's a very cool
Von innen
ship.
macht's mich
I
an,
think we did
muss
a
ich
really nice
sagen.
job of taking what was there in the concept and adding
Ist halt eine
an
Box,
extra
ne? Kann man alles
detail,
drin machen.
trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup, so something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big
Ja, aber
ship,
die
you know,
Triebwerke,
the,
die
Paladin
irgendwie,
there just to
die
make
lösen
sure
bei mir
they
nichts
put more
aus,
messages with you
Leute.
and just basically scare people
Sonst
away.
würde sich hier schon der Tisch anheben.
About the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4 and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions.
Mein Chef hat
You know,
gestern
the
in den Stream geguckt.
pilot,
Ich hoffe, heute ist er
pilot
nicht
and
da.
the two gunners, they're basically all equal on the ship. There's one toilet, everyone's
So.
got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you called out you like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. Your
Toilet seat never gets cold.
toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a
Okay,
military
offenbar
craft,
löst
it's the perfect ship for folks on the
dieses
frontier
Schiff
trying to
Durchfall
defend
aus.
against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Isperia.
Okay, bin gespannt, welche Alienrasse bekommt jetzt ein
Isperia are a high-end manufacturer.
neues
They specialize
Schiffchen.
in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Asperia is the Vandal Stinger.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7 foot tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
Also ist ja nicht so mein Style, aber ästhetisch cool.
Higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
Oh, die Cockpit-Ansicht ist ja
Stinger is a competitor to something
nice.
like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of
Okay, wir haben jetzt 2 Schiffe, unfassbare Firepower, richtig gut gearmored. Geiles UI hier.
big
Ne?
guns and taking all the hits.
Also hat.
One thing Isperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Isperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the
Ja, Leute,
existing
dann
that we have in the game.
Gebt mir mehr Referral Awards.
The end user, and this is something Isperia wants
Das heißt
for
nicht
the
so,
civilian
egal.
market. For that one bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling, but underneath it is the same weapon that people have used for years.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, you know, this really well-established art style and, you know, add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. You know, it connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
Ja, das sieht einfach cool aus und andersartig und trotzdem glaubwürdig.
If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome.
Ich nehme jetzt mal diese.
Quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships. And also
Elegant.
the pilot, a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility.
Jetzt sehe ich aus wie ein Sportmoderator.
Driving the Stinger is a little unusual.
Was würde er als nächstes sagen? Welcher Schiff? Und
Obviously being alien in nature.
neues Schiff!
Straight up into the belly
Oh!
There's, you know,
Rampe!
tail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat kind of comes down towards you and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically
Das sieht so lustig aus, aber cool. Ich feiere das. Es ist so lustig.
Traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
Wenn das mal keine... Also das soll doch bei den Schiffsaffinen, nenne ich sie jetzt mal, was ganz Bestimmtes auslösen. Dass man da so reingleitet mit Kopf voran. Das ist super cool, ja.
And vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't, items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted.
Interessante Erwartungshaltung? Also, darfst du sagen, denke ich. Ich weiß aber auch nicht so ganz, was du damit meinst.
Themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
Raptor. Huh?
So the Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, if I'm to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique,
Die Squadron 42 Cutlass.
arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv,
Nimmt das Beste und nimmt von der Cutlass das Front-Landing Gear.
there is
Oh.
more than a fair proportion of the Cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Das ist crazy.
Obviously,
Also ich find's
Cutlass
gut.
have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside, where again, it sort of feels Cutlass-like, but then you'll find
Da hängen ja einfach
there's bits of
Kabel.
Crusader ships just integrated into the wall
Lol.
instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity.
Ich will, dass wir sowas in-game bauen können.
It's gained visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever with the refined work
Bitte Toilette,
from,
bitte Toilette.
Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
Wie in der
Like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice
Medical Cutlass, da
tools
gibt's eine
laying around
Toilette,
in the
ne?
cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
Ja. Okay.
Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing. How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
Ey Leute, wir brauchen viel mehr sowas. Ich feier's. Auch wenn ich's kacke finde, aber irgendwie finde ich's auch gut. Wisst ihr, was ich meine?
Just nothing. Just
No comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, there are just many ways to find these things that, are they legitimate, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
Ich möchte was unique ist, aber genauso sieht's immer aus. Bei allen. Ich find's gut. Hey, das ist eine lustige Idee, ist eine schöne Idee, auch um Assets wieder zu verwerten. Kann man mal für einen Fünfer mitnehmen.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's Talking Ship for another year.
Eins der nützlichsten Schiffe umgebaut, um einfach nochmal ein bisschen eine andere Rolle vielleicht Nische zu befüllen. Oh, one last thing.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year. So we have to throw it over to Alexei for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
Okay, jetzt geht's um Waffen.
I'm talking about the new edition that came out in October. The non-weapons are essentially
Lol, Vincent, wirklich? Ich hab nicht drauf geachtet.
That you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Leute, holt euch keine Kreditkarte für irgendwas. Ne? Also macht keine Schulden, will ich damit sagen.
Unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of like scrappy and taped together and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
Da ist sie. Und Indien kriegt sie direkt mit Knochen dran.
This is the one that not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle that basically fires energy and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy.
Lustig,
On top of the art, there is
aber das ist ja
box
eigentlich ein
that
dummes
cycles
Konzept,
around,
oder?
And that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making
Aber ich feier's.
work in kind of like a scrappy,
Warum nicht?
glued together kind of aesthetic.
Aber eine AK ist halt ein Industrieprodukt, ein richtig hochwertig produziertes Massenprodukt und nichts, was irgendwie komisch zusammengeklebt wurde, ne? Also hochwertiges Industrieprodukt ist vielleicht auch ein bisschen viel gesagt, aber ihr wisst, was ich meine. Es kommt halt aus der Massenfertigung. Die finde ich cool. Bin ja sowieso LMG-Fan.
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
Ja, nice. Da bin ich voll dabei.
We don't have a
Ich bin einer von denen.
of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you pull.
Sowas hätte ich gerne, aber nicht so komisch Makeshift-mäßig, sondern halt richtig.
It will have an arming distance. So you
Aber
won't be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus because you've got the tube on your shoulder and you try to aim it, you'd have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aim apparatus for this. And then we realized like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus and you just kind of like, all right.
Ja, ich habe auch noch niemals einen Raketenwerfer gesehen, der eine Zielvorrichtung an der Seite hatte. What? Nicht, dass ich es schlimm finde, aber die Begründung ist halt lächerlich.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the verse, and I think it will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things, especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
Die sehen aus wie straight aus Star Wars.
Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously, due to glint gate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh.
Ja, Mozart, das ist absolut normal eigentlich.
And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand
and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
Frage ich mich, warum es sowas nicht schon lange gibt, also super Sache.
Depends on how you throw them.
Thanks, Alexei and Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year.
Aber warum kriege ich meine geile MG nur in verrostet?
Anyone else is going to come and tell me something else? It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Also war jetzt schiffstechnisch leider nichts für mich direkt dabei, aber kann ja auch nicht immer sein.
Well. That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the verse, and they're all available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store. Also,
so, dann kaufen wir mal ein.
There's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three, so you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch.
Okay, 150.
These cool new Lebsky desk mat things. These are always popular.
300.
There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new
Gar nichts.
Emporium T-shirt. Yeah.
340.
There's also a page published earlier today with a bunch of links to offerings from our third-party partners, from eye trackers to gaming chairs to voice packs to spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Space.
Guter Preis, was sagt ihr?
You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I show? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin.
Ich will so ein Ding.
All right.
Tja.
What else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Here we go. Excuse me. Hi, how you doing? That's my
Ja, da hast du recht, Indien.
Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Dusters armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool.
Ich will so eine Statue von Mark Hamill haben.
Got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool. Krigeri, Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. Very cool. I'm gonna go over here.
Das ist sehr heftig.
Hi, Mom. All right. So yeah, and
das Ding will ich auch.
What are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016, where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy
Das war nicht die Kontroverse, wenn ich mich recht erinnere. Das war...
Stargarita machine. Yeah. Do devs deserve frozen deliciousness?
Das ist ja das günstigste Getränk, was man da hinballern kann, oder? Abgesehen von der Maschine.
Competition. Oh,
Du
competition
Devs
winners.
deserved es.
We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on
Gib
the
denen
screen?
halt das Geld, dass die sich das unterwegs kaufen sollen
Remember
können.
the competition for the CitizenCon winners? The people made the
Nein.
videos. And,
Aber hey, jedes Büro, in dem ich bisher war, hatte eine Kaffeemaschine. What the fuck? Darum geht's nicht. Es geht darum, dass ihr da eine fucking Bar hingestellt habt. In so einem abgespaceden Design. Alles cool, ne? Sieht mega aus.
Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got. Oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza.
Eine Kaffeeküche hätte es aber auch getan.
There's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just
Ihr seid halt
into like a
ein
challenge
Unternehmen, das
situation here?
Geld von Leuten bekommt, freiwillig, damit ihr ein Spiel macht. Es ist nicht so, dass da ihr einen Chef habt und der das aus der Privatkasse finanziert. Dann kann er da mal reinballern, was er will.
And that is a terrible segue into our next segment. Gemma.
Wie gesagt, den Entwicklern soll es richtig gut gehen. Die sollen tolle Konditionen haben, alles.
The FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this
Aber
up,
es geht so ein bisschen darum, wie das hier alles aussieht, ne? Und das damals, wenn ich mich recht erinnere, da ging es darum, dass da ein Barista arbeitet. Nicht, dass die dass die Kaffee verdienen oder nicht. What the fuck?
Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever ways you want. But that doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
The first version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft weapons and